Well, hello and welcome. Today I have with me John Beck, professional wedding DJ. Just want to ask a few questions about the booking process and the benefits of hiring a specialist professional wedding DJ. G'day, John.
G'day, James. How you going?
Good, mate. Good. How's things?
Yeah, pretty good.
John, I wanted to ask you, first and foremost, the importance of a DJ at a wedding.
Well, you're talking to a DJ, so I'm going to say he's very important. But take the word DJ out of that sentence and change it to entertainment, and basically ask yourself, how important is the entertainment at your wedding reception? You know, and then ask yourself, what's important to you? Like at your wedding reception, like, is the most important thing to you to have the biggest and the tallest wedding cake? Is it to have the best decorated wedding reception? Is it to have the best food? If what's most important to you is that all your guests have a good time, then obviously entertainment is very important, and you need to spend more time, energy and your budget on looking at entertainment.
Okay.
So without good entertainment at your reception, what have you got? You've basically got an expensive dinner party.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, you said they're good entertainment. Is it difficult to find a good DJ?
Apparently it is. I get so many people on the phone saying, look, you know, it's really hard to find a DJ, you know, a good DJ. Because often I'm by myself. So they say, well, do you know anyone? And it is hard because there's so many DJs out there. I mean, you just type in wedding DJ into Google and see how many results you get. And then you start reading their websites and they're all professional. You know, they've all got the best lights, they've all got the most music. So how do you decipher all that? It's a tough one, but for me, the easiest way I can describe I like to put the DJs in Melbourne into 3 tiers. Like, think of a wedding cake, you know, the bottom layer is the big one, and the DJs that are in this bottom tier are what I call the multi-operators, the McDonald's of the DJ industry.
Right. So the lowest level, which is pretty much, I guess you could say, the lowest quality and basic service, pretty much.
Yeah. And they do get the bulk of the bookings because they're just so big. I mean, some of these companies might have 20 DJs going out on a Saturday night. That's how big they are. So that's like the multi-op. There's nothing wrong with those companies. It just depends on what quality of service, I suppose, you want from your DJ. So they're okay, they're good, they're cheap, people will dance, but could it be better? Yes, it could. The second tier is what I call the sole owner operators. DJs that work for themselves, they've got their own equipment, and these guys are what I would call the start of the professional DJ. Right. And beyond that, the top tier, what I like to call is the luxury car of DJs. There's not many of these DJs in Melbourne, and it seems like these are the DJs that a lot of these brides are looking for. And these are the guys that are really passionate about what they do and are really striving for excellence. I don't know how else to put it, but these are the guys that are absolutely fanatical about making sure that your function is as good as it can be.
Right. So, if I could ask, what do you think are the main differences between the top tier of professional DJs to the basic service? What are the main differences?
Yeah. Look, the biggest difference is the price and the quality of service. The music is all the same. Like, we've all got the same music. So what you need to ask your DJ is, well, what do I get for my money? And if he starts talking about, well, I've got, you know, Pioneer CD players and I've got 18 lights, you know, he's probably not going to provide a very good service.
Right.
It's all what people don't see is all the extra time that it takes to actually plan a good wedding reception. You can't just show up an hour before and play music and expect to have a really good wedding reception. The top tier of wedding DJs, these are the guys that are going to meet with you 2 or 3 times before your wedding reception and basically find out what you want. You know, they're going to find out what your visions are for your wedding reception.
So basically, the main differences you could say are the level of service and the personality of the actual entertainer itself.
Exactly. If you want something more personalised, these are the guys that, you know, when you ring them up, you're going to talk to the guy that's going to plan your function, organise your function. He's the guy that's going to DJ your function. Every time you ring him, every time you email him, you're talking to the same guy.
Right.
Rather than that bottom tier where, you know, you're organising your function with, you know, the office manager, and some DJ will rock up that you've never even met before to your wedding, you know, which is, let's face it, it's the biggest party you're throwing.
Yeah, would you say that there's a kind of level of disappointment that you could expect with that bottom tier too, come the day itself?
Yeah. Look, you can get lucky. You know, I'm not saying that all these DJs in the bottom tier are bad, but you know, you can get lucky. The only problem I see with this bottom tier of DJs is that they're just in it for a quick buck. You know, they don't care if your function is good or not. They don't care. They'll walk out of there, they'll forget about you. Whereas that top tier, you know, it's our business, you know, and we want to make sure that you get exactly what you want. So that's kind of the difference. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. Also, too, the difference between those two, the professional guys, they're normally full time, aren't they?
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort. You know, I worked it out. It takes me between 20 to 30 hours to sort of plan and prepare for a wedding. So that's a full-time job, just there for one wedding. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing two, well, you go 60 hours for the week. It takes a lot of effort. And
that preparation pretty much ensures the difference between a good night and a great night.
Exactly. You know, any DJ, you're going to have a good night, but you just need to ask yourself, could it be better? And to find that out, you need to talk to one of these DJs, one of these wedding professionals, I suppose. Let's not call them DJs, because they're not really DJs, these guys. They're wedding entertainment specialists. Let's call them that.
Yeah. So there is a difference between a DJ and an entertainer?
Absolutely. I mean, when people think DJ, they think, yep, music. Guy's going to rock up, he's going to have his headphones on, wiki, and DJ. That's a DJ. An entertainer, like my job as a wedding entertainer, doesn't start, you know, when the speech is finished. My job as an entertainer starts 6 months before your wedding. You know, when we start planning your wedding, that's when I start planning the entertainment for your reception. It goes way beyond just playing a few CDs. And it's kind of hard to explain. And you really need to sit down with couples and just find out their personality, and then like suggest stuff that you can do to entertain people at their wedding. There's more ways to entertain people than just dancing, believe me. I've got plenty of ideas.
So the planning phase begins pretty much as soon as they book. You send them out the information that they need. And what happens from there? If they need any consultation in between, any questions, what sort of service do you think you could provide from there?
Yeah. People are going to find it hard to find another person that's as fanatical as I am regarding a wedding reception. And the minute you book, I'm going to be constantly thinking about how I can make your wedding better, more fun, more memorable. I really am. And this is where those consultations come into it. Once, you know, I meet you, we talk about it, and, you know, we talk to each other on the phone, we learn each other's personalities. So the service, I mean, it's always there. You pick up the phone and I'm there.
Right.
And people sometimes, I've had brides ring me up and just basically almost in tears, just having a vent, I suppose, about the stresses of their wedding organising. You know, that's the kind of relationship I end up having with a lot of people. You know, it's like we're friends. You know, and you really do become friends.